Sandy's here to tell us all about the Team Cayote and getting the most out of it and what we can do with it tuning wise. Hi guys, Brett here from Hearns Hobbies and I'm joined by Sandy. Sandy, why you come to visit us in the studio today?
Hi guys, come to visit you guys to talk about some awesome Coyote gear.
Some Team Cayote gear, that is fantastic. So you're a lead driver for our Team Cayote Australia team.
Correct, yeah.
You've been driving now for probably, what, near 6 months? It's about
October the product last year. 6 months, quite early, yeah.
Which is really good because you jumped on board nice and early. It is a very fresh brand in the RC racing scene and they've come out swinging, haven't they?
Yeah,
You know, the speed controllers have proven themselves to be really, really good, really tunable and quite reliable. The lipos are absolutely next level, and we are waiting every day, getting closer and closer to the motors, and I'm really excited to see what they're going to do there. But you've come in today to talk about mainly the ESC, the battery, and the Bluetooth module here. So we've got this little module plugged into the ESC, and that is how you were tuning up this bad boy, right?
Yep.
And you race 10th scale modified.
Correct, yep.
Which is the fastest race cars pretty much you can get in 10th scale. And you've raced, I won't say all over the world, but you've definitely represented internationally, haven't you?
Correct, yeah.
So you've been to Thailand a couple of times?
6 times in total.
6 times?
Yep. And there will possibly be a special international race coming up very soon.
Fantastic.
I won't let the cat out of the bag yet, but it should be interesting.
Won't let the cat out of the bag? That is great.
Yeah,
and what chassis are you driving at the moment?
So I'm a factory driver for the SP1 by RC Maker.
SP1 by RC Maker. That's fantastic. And although it's not one of our hero brands here at Hearns Hobbies, we are super proud of it. Personally known Ryan for a long time. And it is an Aussie brand car. So it's really good.
It's fantastic to see an Australian touring car.
It's really good. And it's not crap. It's not crap by any means. It's
not at all, no.
It's performing really, for a first generation car, probably better than most. Better than all, I would say, first crack at the top tier.
I suppose so,
and he's got some really good international drivers on board as well.
Yes.
Even last weekend, what, second in France, was it?
Yep.
For the French Nationals with Antoine
Brunet.
Yep. So he was driving. You know, I'm sure he would have won in the Yokomo, but we'll forgive him for that. No? No?
That's another story for another day. No.
All right. Anyway, so Sandy's here to tell us all about the Team Cayote and getting the most out of it and what we can do with it tuning wise. So this is really out of my hands, mate. Let's talk us through it. Let's get it powered up and tell us what we're looking at.
Yep. All right. So I find at the track a lot of people come to me for ESC settings, especially modified guys.
Because they drive like you?
Yeah, they try to. No. I've been running modified such a long time. Since I was 19, actually. I've been racing since 18. I just jumped straight into modified.
Yep.
And I've been running it a very long time.
About nearly 20 years, right?
Yes, yeah. So,
and pretty much in 20 years, you've been in the top 10 or top 5 in Australia, right?
Yeah. I'd say...
Have you won a national title?
Not one yet,
Not one yet? That's the only one that's... But I'm sure state champions.
Yeah, I've done all the other ones.
All the states?
All the special events and state titles everywhere, and a couple of years in a row in South Australia.
Definitely, if you come to TFTR, it's pretty much pretty hard to beat there, right?
Yeah, that's my home track, so do a few laps there.
You probably get around there all right too.
Yeah, definitely.
I reckon your car would know its own way around Templestowe by now.
Basically.
Hey, how many laps do you think you've done in the last 6 months?
Oh, there was a lot of testing before the Australian Nationals.
Yeah. It was October last year.
Yeah. I just stopped that beeping, so we're in now.
So we're all paired up. So you've got the app fired up. We're all paired in. So show us what this bad boy can do. All
right. Well, first things first, it can do a bit of data recording.
So you can see here. I'm going to get in close and personal now. I hope you got your phone on Do Not Disturb. I don't want your grinder going off. I'm kidding. Rightio. So what are we looking at?
So this is your data logging after the run. So you have your minimum battery voltage, motor RPM. That's valuable for the stock guys for gearing.
28,000. I'd say that you haven't even blipped the throttle on this thing.
No, that was just I think we turned it off and on before. That's why it recorded this stuff. And your max ESC and motor temp.
28,000, that's what my poor little 21's doing, mate.
Yeah, generally we see in the 75,000.
77, yeah. In the 4.5 turn, surely?
Correct, yeah, it's a 4.5.
Up there, yeah.
Yeah.
Getting up and about.
Yeah.
So what sort of things do you usually adjust? What's your go-to settings?
So for me, track dependent, I adjust obviously the power levels and grip dependent as well. But generally, I leave all my bottom end settings alone, especially in Australia because our grip is quite similar from track to track. And then I just play around with turbo settings and how I want the turbo full throttle to come in and out and how aggressive that is.
And everything.
Correct, yeah. So I tune that to the straights.
Yeah.
Yeah, the longest straight of the track, that's where you tune that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also sometimes layout specific, because there's lots of different ways to tune these, where some people run like high boost and low turbo, or ramp the turbo in hard or soft. And I find that if like there's an on power S part coming on to a track, or a certain bump on a section of a track, you can tune power out in those sections so it's more comfortable to drive.
Yeah.
Like a really fast on power S, accelerating out of that where you need to go full throttle, you can delay the turbo and let it come in a bit later, harder, and like you can really nail that part of the track in just a simple ESC setting.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good to know how to use it. It's an advantage to you.
And it takes years of practice, right?
Yes. It's because
it's really style dependent as well. Like
definitely,
driving style dependent. Not that you're not a stylish cat, I'm just saying your driving style, right?
Yeah. I don't get too many complaints though when people drive my cars. They like how the ESC feels.
You let people drive your car?
Sometimes. Yeah. I do.
Because they're fickle creatures, right? This thing on a straight, I'm tipping even on a small straight, and I call TFTR small, Templestowe.
Yeah.
Probably hitting 95?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah? Around that, 98, 95.
If it's a bigger track, then you easily see 115, 125, right?
Definitely.
Like Moorebank, Lilydale, per se.
Yep. And that speed there, that's sort of tyre heat dependent over 5 minutes. Like if you crank it up and want to do like a bit of a fast run down the straight, you'll go a bit quicker. But yeah, you need to manage the tyres in modified.
Yeah, that's
5
right.
minutes.
For 5 minutes, otherwise they'll fall away.
Correct.
Or even fail, right?
Yeah.
In some instances.
Yeah.
All right, so let's have a look at your let's have a look at some of your settings.
All right. So generally for track specific stuff, I only play with turbo in Australia.
Yep.
But so when I go to like a Thailand, it's just naturally a much faster track. Like you go around the hairpins a lot faster than we ever do here.
Yeah.
So that's when I change gearing and end bell timing.
Yeah.
So apart from that, once I get my electronics dialed in Australia, I don't really change anything bar the ESC settings.
Yes.
Yeah. And if the grip is like a really big difference, or I go to like a quite small track, maybe just a tiny bit on the end bell, just like a line or a degree or two.
Yeah.
That's it. And I don't do that on the motor checker. I just turn it and drive it.
Just turn it and drive it.
Yeah. If I don't like it, I turn it back and drive it again.
That's right.
That's it.
Well, that's the easiest setting, right? Sometimes, without changing absolutely everything.
Yeah. All right. So we've got all the general settings, which is forward, reverse, voltage cutoffs. It's a race car, so we disable all that stuff.
Disable, that's right.
We don't want it to stop. Yes, that's right. So we monitor it every run and make sure it's all good. But these things are great. Like I'm not even going to be running a fan this race meeting coming up.
No.
They're no problem. So remote off, that is if you hold the brake for 5 or 10 seconds, it will shut the car off.
Okay.
I have that off because I'm paranoid.
Yeah, of course.
I'm there to race, not turn my car off.
Not turn your car off. Yeah, that's right.
And just the general motor.
It's really weird.
Direction.
I find it quite that they've put a sensor mode in a full comp ESC, full competition spec, because I can't imagine anybody running this with a sensorless motor.
No, I doubt it. No.
You know what I mean? Phase AC swap, so that depends how you've got it wired up.
Yeah.
And the motor rotation can be some of the
car specific,
10 scale off-road cars with the bevel transmissions can be reverse direction.
Yeah.
Right. Fantastic. So show us through some of the actual settings. Where's some of the menus? Let's have a look at where's your boost?
Boost. All right. So we go into my timing stuff.
Yep. Timing angles.
Yes.
And what does it look like when you change it? Is it literally just a scroll screen on there?
So we'll go into the turbo timing, which is set at 20 degrees at the moment.
Yep.
So then it tells you your minimum and your maximum, where you can just tap it 1 degree at a time, or you can just grab this and go for it.
Yep.
And on here, you can do a lot of custom throttle curves as well, and you can actually see it. So that's pretty cool.
Yep. So here with your boost starting RPMs, is that what you mean?
No, that's in the throttle.
Okay,
rate.
Show us the throttle rate.
Yep. I
want to see this stuff. Because as a stock racer, I mean, I don't know, you wouldn't really adjust too much of that, right?
Stock, no. You probably want the throttle quite aggressive. But this, we got a lot of power to manage, and yeah. So on my radio, I never run any curve or anything like that at all. Yep. It's just completely raw. It's all done via ESC.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's really hard, isn't it? Once you have two adjustable parameters, you end up with a car feeling really like synthetic. A lot of people will have...
Yeah. You keep it simple sometimes. You don't want to get lost in things.
No, that's right, because you don't know which one that you're trying to tune.
Yes. Yeah. Like I see some people sometimes playing around with throttle speed and stuff like that. If the grip's
even
low.
Turning speed.
Yeah, that's a new one. A lot of the Fly Sky guys are playing with that for some reason, yeah. So this here, 30%, that's the switching rate between these two.
Yes.
So you can, this one here is the initial feeling of the throttle, up to 30%. So that's how aggressive you want that to feel. And the second punch rate is the...
And that's where you usually start having boost coming on anyway, no?
Correct.
Yeah.
On your second punch rate.
On your second
punch rate. So the
first
first one is basically the raw engine.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's like second punch rate enters your boost and so on from there.
Start overlapping, yeah. So punch line is full linear, neutral range 6%. It's all very initial throttle force. Of course, you got it down really low, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to jump off the line. Coast, so got no drag brake. That's coast, right?
No, coast is when you let go of the throttle, it can still add a percentage of throttle.
Okay,
you do that type of setting if the car's getting upset when you let go of the throttle too quick. Track specific as well, like you're entering a big sweeper, very high speed, and you back off too fast. You can that's when you adjust that type of stuff. Yep. I've generally never liked that. No. I just sort of
that's what rear droop's for.
Yeah. Set the car up different or drive it, but depends what they're doing in the off-road thing or But generally for modified on-road, I don't do that. Play for that setting much myself at all.
Softening value.
Yes.
What is that?
Softens it all out.
So is that like an Expo in the Speedy?
No, not Expo.
No?
No, because you'll still, if you don't move the throttle trigger, you end up at that point regardless of the softening value.
Yep.
It's how smooth all the settings come in and out, and also how smooth the trigger feels.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it basically like numbs it all down.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So these things, there's a lot happening, and also with the gear ratio rerun, that's 7.6 FDR.
And that's pretty consistent for most tracks with a 4.5 turn, right?
Basically, yeah. So they can feel quite harsh sometimes if the settings aren't right and everything. So the softening value is a good thing for people. And also grip level as well. Some people play with the softening value. I generally don't, because I don't like the feeling to change, or if the grip starts coming up, I don't want to change my settings again. I just generally adapt to drive it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the softening range, that's the first 30% of the throttle.
Yeah, so softening value is how much it can do. So I've only got that on 10% because I'm very happy with my settings and how smooth everything is anyway. And only 30% of the first bit of the throttle.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you've got your drive frequency.
Yeah.
Which is only 8K.
Yeah, that's fine.
Which is quite aggressive, no?
Oh, yeah, you can go 16.
I would consider that quite aggressive for a 4.5 turn.
I suppose so, yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, what would I know?
At the moment, also, I do have the kit rotor in there.
Yep. And you're also trying to keep some heat out of it too, right?
Oh, yeah, it's not too bad. In modified, we can run a fan, and it will be cold as. So at this race meet, Victorian titles coming up, I won't be having a fan. So
another thing to break, right?
Yeah, that's
another thing to break and get in the way.
So I seen, I stopped using a fan when I seen all the factory hobby wing guys at Thailand driving around in scorching heat with no fan, and they're doing like 8-minute practice runs. I was like, okay, we don't need a fan. So I didn't put one on, and everything's been fine ever since.
Yeah.
So it went up about 20 degrees. So in summer, I end the run about 80 degrees, and in winter, depends how cold it is, sometimes 40 or 50.
Yep.
But yeah, it's been
It's
happy.
nothing for these motors, right? I
mean, they're happy at 110.
They can comfortably get to 110,
right?
right?
Yeah. They got some pretty cool
and you're not
technology.
really, like, the rotors and stuff in these motors will last for a long time, right? Modified motors last a long time.
Yeah, very long time. Years, basically.
Whereas stock motors, like, one for every big event, right?
Well, they last. They just don't have optimal performance.
Yeah.
Where in a modified car, that's not too critical because you can just we got too much power than we know what to do with 90% of the time.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty, we'll go brake settings. So this one here, I find that when I've changed this on slowly and heavy has really good brakes still at low speed in hairpins, where if I put it on slowly, sometimes at low speed, I found there wasn't enough brake for me. But that is also track layout specific. Like if it's a very big open flowing track, I'll definitely change it to the second setting there. But yeah, I've got this track here that I've been running on recently. It's got a lot of tight hairpins, a lot of really hard braking points.
Stop and go. Makes it good for overtaking, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of opportunities there for overtaking.
Yep, under brakes there's going to be a lot
or just driving to the back door, people, right?
No, we leave that setting up, so you got a bit of brakes there.
Right. Drag brake, 12%. I'm quite surprised to see it as high as that.
Yep. I generally always run my drag brake 10 to 15%.
Yep.
Yeah. When I'm running a smaller rotor, I always run it at 15.
Yep.
But yeah.
So, and when you're referring to smaller rotor, that will be the 12.1 millimeter.
Correct. Yeah.
What we refer to as a 12th scale rotor. Now it'll have a 12.3, I imagine.
That's the one.
Yeah, which is usually out of the box. Some motors, like I know Orcas, they come with 12.1s up to 5.5 turn. After 5.5 turn, they go to 12.3s.
Right.
But yeah, to give that super smooth, but 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5 all come with 12.1s in that range. Because they figure that that's what you're going to have, right? Because you got so much grunt out of these things, but obviously you've harnessed it.
Yeah.
And especially if it's not fresh anyway. I mean, it'll feel like a 12.1 anyway.
Yeah, that too. That's another thing. I have put in a new motor before and had to change my ESC settings.
Really?
Yeah, because the motor was like 2.5 years old. And I thought, I better change it. There's a big event coming up. It was the Nationals. Like, yeah, let's put a new motor in. So.
And it didn't work out. Well, you just had to redial everything back.
Yeah. All right, so in the brake settings, we've got that first one that we spoke about, and then drag brake. Max brake force is at 90, and I think on my radio I'm at 90 as well.
Yeah, and
actually.
It's just the EPA,
I leave a little bit of leeway on the radio just in case I need to change it on the fly. I don't have to stop my car and plug it in and that. So initial brake force is the factory setting 10%.
Yep. And that just works, feels nice out of the box.
Yeah.
And sometimes with settings, like, it's the best way forward, right? Because like you said, you can get lost.
Correct. Keep it simple. If you're liking the feeling of it, don't change stuff.
There's
no
just
point
for the sake of it. And if you are changing stuff, it's really helpful just to change one thing at a time.
Yes.
I mean, we all preach that, but then we'll get back to the pits and change like 8 things on the car, right?
That's it. That's racing. And obviously your brake frequency.
Yep.
But one thing I noticed when I did go to the Cayote speed controller, the brakes are next level. Like, I'm super, super happy with the brakes feeling. Yeah.
And that can be hard with these motors with the way that they're geared and the high RPM.
Yeah.
Is actually getting these things to pull up.
Yes.
Takes a lot of engineering and power from the ESC unit itself.
Yes. It's not an easy thing to do, apparently.
And I know,
make nice brakes.
And I know Oscar, who's an ex-racer, who's really behind the engineering and development of the Cayote brand and gear, it's really critical that the stuff feels absolutely as good as it can.
Yeah. No, super, super happy with the brakes. So then timing. So I have 10 degrees boost.
Yep.
Start RPM is 8,000 for the boost and ends at 22. So pretty early.
It's pretty early, but it's a very small track.
Yes, that too, yeah. So the boost control's on RPM, obviously. And we got.
So can you change that to percentage or no?
No, only it's automatic.
Okay, automatic.
Yeah.
All right.
So that is like trigger based, I've found.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what I am more used to. And I know it's the same effect, but I've been used to over the years of setting my boost and turbo up on throttle percentages, not on RPM.
Right.
And that can be handy, particularly in off-road if you change winds.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
yes.
Because then you're not changing whole RPM and power bands.
Right.
That's the throttle feel. That
As
will
soon as you
remain.
change FDR, that throws that all out.
Yeah, can throw out the whole curve, right?
So that's another reason why I don't actually change FDR in Australia. So just leave it alone and
just leave it alone and
settings,
tune it.
Yeah.
And when, like you said, when you had that overpowered or you have that much motor in it, you can exactly that.
Yeah. I can make this quite slow with that 4.5 in there.
Yeah, you could make it, I won't say like a 13.5. I mean, you have to adjust the EPA for that. But if you took everything out of it and softened it.
Yeah, it would actually be quite...
it'd be very...
Yeah.
You get it to go like a 8.5.
It would definitely affect my lap time. Like I won't have enough power and it will affect my lap time. So, yeah. So, obviously we got 20 degrees of turbo. Now, turbo delay is... I like this ESC a lot because all the other ESCs don't have this.
It's in hundredths.
Yeah.
Right? And
Look
it's
at that.
fully scalable.
How cool's that?
Yeah. Yeah. And you've got it to 0.7.
Yeah.
So that is nearly like the length of the straight, right? You've got to be holding that thing for a long time.
Yeah.
0.7 of a second, you've got to be holding wide open throttle or wherever you've got it set to, right?
Yes, yeah. But that being said, it is a 4.5 turn and there's a fair bit of power there before I need to enter turbo.
Yep.
And also I do have 10 degrees of boost into it.
Yep.
So she's moving before...
before it comes on.
Yeah.
And that's for stability, because you don't just want it to light up.
No,
right?
no.
That's
it
the
just
worst
gets
case
wheel
scenario.
spin, yeah.
It just gets wheel spin.
Yeah.
And damages the spur gears and the belts and the tyres.
Probably if I was in a track like Thailand, where it's like super grippy and like you're on the throttle quite a bit, that would be at 0.5.
Yep.
Yeah. Some people run instant as well, but when you're that close down, you can't really feel the difference too much. Like. Yeah. So turbo increase rate, I actually have that quite soft.
So that's the ramp.
Correct.
Right? That's like the RPM ramp that you're dialing in.
Yes. And now turbo decrease rate. Now turbo decrease rate does a very similar thing to coast.
Yep.
So when you get off the turbo at very high speeds, it doesn't upset the car too much. So I actually, if I put that to instant, I can actually feel it and I don't like it too much.
Yeah.
It's like someone just slams the brakes on a touch when I let off the throttle.
And can be hard if you've got to get back on it, right?
During the middle of a sweeper,
In the middle of a sweeper,
correct.
or if you're trying to overtake and you
Yes,
you just hesitate, right? And you've got out of the throttle, then you get back into it. The car that does crazy stuff, right?
Yeah, it helps. So yeah, I keep that at 24. So definitely not instant on that one, but I never run any coast.
Yep.
So if I'm looking to change power level like track specific, I would probably play with these three settings.
Yeah, so say you put a fresh battery in, or you put a fresh motor in.
Yeah.
Something that's going to make everything angrier from the get-go.
Yeah.
What's the first thing that you'll go and turn down?
Turbo. I'll turn down the... turbo. I'll take it down 4 degrees as a general thing. I normally do like turbo in 4 degrees blocks.
Yep.
I don't know why.
So not boost, not the middle third of the throttle, always the top end.
Yes, because I find that modified, we've got that much power, you always got controlling the throttle anyway.
Yep.
It's like even when you put your car out there on like old tyres, you will be driving that throttle quite different run to run. So I think any modified driver with a fair bit of experience just adapts that anyway, like regardless. Like if you
don't need a setting for that.
If you're a competent mod driver, you wouldn't be changing settings just for that. So you drive it. Yeah.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I know you said the brakes on the Team Cayote is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you've noticed in the way that it tunes, in some of the settings, in the stuff you can do? Is there? Does it do anything different to other brands? Like, what's the point of difference with the Cayote other than the brakes?
Well, I find that connecting to my phone is always very reliable. Where other brands have had problems in the past, like you got to try 5 times and try to turn off your Wi-Fi and
stick your tongue in and out.
Yeah. Turn off the car, turn it back on, and then it works. But I've never had an issue. Like I turn that on, I open the app, and it works.
It works.
Yeah, it's great.
And it's the same Team Cayote app for the 8th scale Speedy as well.
Yeah.
And the 8th scale Speedy, because the 8th scale doesn't have a blinky class, you don't actually need the module, right? We're straight in. It was straight with your phone.
Correct.
So that's a really good feature. I don't think any other Speedy at the moment does that.
I don't think so, no. Yeah.
So they've really sort of thought a little bit outside the box.
Yeah. So going through the app as well, we've got real-time data.
Yep.
Pretty cool.
So you can see so if you sit there and whiz it up,
blow
the tyres off, you can see your RPM.
Now, I think I don't have the latest firmware on it at the moment because I'm going to a big event and I don't want to change it.
Yeah,
I don't want to change any feelings because I'm super happy. But I think the latest firmware has the live current.
Yep.
But definitely all the 8 scale stuff has live current.
Yep.
So we got home. So that's just basically your Bluetooth settings.
Yep.
And then, just basic settings on the app.
Beautiful.
The app's nice and basic. You don't need too much on it.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it's reliable and it works.
Definitely.
That is fantastic. And that's what you want. And it hasn't let you down.
No, it's always connected. I've been so happy with that.
That is fantastic, Sandy. Is there anything else that you'd like to point out? Like, I'd love to talk to you about the batteries, but I know being a mod driver, right? Like, you probably don't even pay much attention to the batteries. But the Team Cayote batteries...
I do.
Like, in stock class, have been absolutely, like, I won't say game changer, but they're like another level to everybody else.
They are, yeah.
The power, the resistance, and the weight of them, like, it's just a balance that we've not seen before.
No, that's right.
In RC racing packs. Whether it's the 7000 that we're currently using a lot of in touring car.
Yeah.
Or in off-road, the 4600s or the 5200s. They're all just really, really good. Numbers, feeling, and reliability.
Yeah. So this battery here, I ran this at the Nationals in Modified.
Yep.
Now, the guy that won 21.5 had the exact same battery in his car.
Really?
And this is a fully low CG battery, 240 grams.
240 grams.
So that's amazing. That's telling you something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You don't win a Nationals just by luck.
No, especially like in the stock class, right?
So for him to have a battery that light, he said his car just handled much better with the low CG setup, and he had enough power with this battery.
Yeah.
So very impressive.
Yeah.
I find the difference in mod, it's very consistent from the first lap to the last lap.
Do you fully charge it?
Yep.
Because I know a lot of people in mod, maybe those less experienced as well, they won't actually fully charge their battery.
Correct, yeah.
Because you do definitely get a voltage curve, and if you don't fully charge it, if you fully charged is 4.2 volts per cell.
Yep.
If you charge that down to 4.15, you
Yeah.
get less of a curve and less of a drop off. But
You
the
do.
Team Cayote guys, as far as I know, are all fully charging. And
Their batteries are fantastic.
they're just tuning the Speedy around it. And it's like you said, it's the same from the first to the last lap.
Yeah.
And in stock, you've really got to tune around it because it's not your battery fade that you can feel. It's your poor little rotor, right? It's your poor little motor that's starting to overheat and give up and stuff like that. It's not the battery fading away. So it's really good.
Now, I will admit it, I have done 2 runs on the battery. I did forget to charge my pack, and it got me through 2 runs.
2 runs in mod.
I only do 1 warm-up lap.
Yep.
But because at Templestowe, I was using 2800 milliamps, and it done 2 runs.
So that's a big ask for a 6800.
In Modified, to do 2 runs on a low CG battery, it's fantastic. Yeah.
And that was with your voltage cutoff disabled.
Yeah. It didn't dump. I didn't feel anything.
Really? Didn't feel
I
it?
just noticed that from when I went to charge it, the battery voltage was very low. I was like, oh, what happened here? It was at 7.0 after 2 runs. Yeah, normally it's at 7.8, 7.7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Well, that is awesome. Well, thanks for joining me, Brett from Hearns Hobbies, and Team Cayote Australia driver here, Sandy. It's been a pleasure, Sandy, having you in. Thank you for taking the time. And I look forward to seeing you on track this weekend.
Cool.
Thanks for joining us, and thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.